Okay, you're probably wondering, why is old Ron selling his scooter when he had so much fun with it last year? What's wrong with it? Nothing wrong with it. Let me explain. Okay, here's what happened. About last spring, 14 months ago, I think it was the end of April or the beginning of May, I went to Bikes and Beyond on Henderson Highway. And my thought was, I'm going to get an e-bike. So one of the fellows there, I think his name was Andrew, he spent about half an hour with me, and he did his best to get me on an e-bike. I went into that store and I thought I'd just sort of jump on one and off I'd go. To my shock, I found out I could not pedal it. My knees just wouldn't bend. It was embarrassing, and I think it was more shocking than anything else. I couldn't believe it. Anyway, I came back here to the house. I went on Amazon, and I thought there's, that I could probably modify a bike so that I could use it, and I did. I got an e-bike. Okay, probably till about the middle of last summer, I went around on that e-bike. I put about 2,000 kilometers on it altogether. And, by the way, if somebody's wondering, I believe there's about 2,000 kilometers on the scooter. A little more probably. And so anyway, I think it was around August, I bought this. And I played with it for the rest of the summer until it got too cold to ride. I think it was the end of October, if I'm not mistaken. Or anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyway, along around September, somewhere in there, I think it's the beginning of September, I started to realize I had my motorcycle license, so why don't I get a real motorcycle again? And it had been many, many years since I'd had a motorcycle. So I went online to find out what type of bikes are comfortable for somebody like me that is really, sort of arthritic. And I found this style here. You'll notice when I'm sitting on it like this, my feet are flat on. Well, I guess you can't see them because the scooter's in the way, but my feet are flat on the ground, and yet I'm sitting on the seat. In other words, I don't have to tiptoe around on it. It's got a low seat. There was another bike that was similar to this, but then I found out that Honda, the Honda Rebel, can be had with what is called a DCT. In other words, a dual clutch or a double clutch transmission. And so I investigated that, and it had been out for quite a few years and was quite popular and worked really well. And I thought, hey, I've been on the scooter, and the scooter is just a twist and go. It's always in gear like a snowmobile. This is a little different, but it's similar in that it's twist and go. There's no clutch here. And this thing shifts way faster and smoother than I ever could. So I'm quite happy with it. Anyway, we got Missy the dog coming, and so we'll see you later. Missy the dog usually comes over and gets a little dog treat from me. So. How are you this morning? You look so nice with your haircut. You look so nice. Yes, you do. You look so nice.
She's kind of strange for 2 or 3 days after her haircut. They cut the hair off her feet, and now She doesn't want to go on the wet grass at all. So
I didn't know she was coming right now, or I would have postponed this. Okay, where are we here? So anyway, I got this. I hung on to the scooter for 2 months after I got this. I got this the beginning of May, and here we are, the beginning of July. So I hung on to the scooter thinking that in the event I find this is just a little bit too much for me, I can always go back to the scooter. But I'm having no problem with this bigger machine, and I'm having just as much fun. Now I'm going to tell you all the things that I don't like about the scooter, and why did I upgrade to this. This is not, you can't use this on the highway, like Henderson Highway where it's 60 kilometers an hour. Yeah, you can use it, but when you go further north, the other side of the perimeter, and you get up to where it's 70 kilometers an hour, it won't go that fast, and you're going to have people wanting to pass you. And I don't want to incur road rage. I mean, that's so. But for just tootling around the neighborhood or anything like that, this is really good. Now we got a helicopter going over. Maybe they want to buy the scooter. Anyway, where are we here? I almost feel like I should just reshoot this, but I don't like to do retakes, so it is what it is. What else do I not like about the scooter is that if you hit a pothole, it doesn't take a real bad bump like this will. But on the other hand, the upside is that on normal running, this is actually much smoother than this. This has what you might call a bit of a sporty, harsh ride, whereas this is sort of a cushy ride until you hit a big bump. Okay, so this is fairly light. I think the weight of it is just under 200 pounds, whereas the weight of this is just over 500. This I put in the house. This I have to put in a box. In other words, I wheel this into the house. I just wheeled it out here a few minutes ago. I just use a board as a ramp and go up the stairs. Anyway, that's why I'm selling it. I'm selling it not because there's something wrong with it, but because I just have realized that this is going to be just fine for me. So there's something else I was going to tell you. Oh, the warranty. It's still under warranty. As near as I can tell, the warranty can be transferred to a second owner. And so it's, yeah, if you take a damp cloth and wipe this thing down, it's going to look like brand new. It's never fallen over or scraped on the side or anything like that. It's in beautiful condition. The only thing is it's got just a little over 2,000 kilometers on it. It's not brand new anymore. But it runs really good. I'll see if I can start it up here for you. It's very quiet. Okay. Okay, it's running. I'll hold the microphone down so that you can hear it. Now it does have a tendency to get a little bit buzzy when the RPM revs up. Otherwise, it's very quiet right now. I remember when the guy started it up. I got this from WSL on Dougal Road, and when Tegan started it up, I remember thinking, just a moment, I'll shut it off here. When he started up, I immediately said, I'll take it, because it was just so smooth and so quiet. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I think I pretty well explained why it is I want to get rid of it. I shouldn't say the word get rid of it, but yeah. And I'd like somebody in this Facebook Facebook group to buy it, so I'd know it was going to go to a good home. Okay, I think I've said everything I want to say here. Oh, the only other person to ride this scooter other than me is my son Phil, and a lot of you know Phil. He works at Premier, so you can ask him about it, what he thinks about it. I think he's rode it 3 times, 2 for sure, and so he's a little bit familiar with it. Okay, thanks for listening to me.